Welcome everybody to Lisa Rose Q&A. I'm Lisa Rose, and the question for today comes from Jamie Gladden through the Spark Lounge in Facebook, and it's, what is Reiki? First, Reiki. It's a Japanese method of deep relaxation that relieves stress, and as a result of that promotes healing and self-healing in the body and also in the psychological and emotional and mental levels of your being, right? So a Reiki practitioner, that would be me. I'm a master in Usui Reiki and Karuna Reiki. I am a practitioner in both those schools. And a Reiki practitioner is someone who's trained in Reiki and also attuned to the Reiki energy by a Reiki master. And the Reiki is turned on and turned off by the practitioner. So in my practice, I can turn the Reiki on and turn it off with intention, number one, and then also with a variety of signs and symbols that go along with the practice. So a Reiki session, in a Reiki session, the person that's receiving the Reiki, they're actually pulling the Reiki through me. I'm like a vessel or a channel for the Reiki energy. It comes through me to the person that's it's being delivered to, but they're actually pulling it. And I can feel that. I can feel when they start pulling the energy, and I can also feel when it dissipates and they stop pulling the energy. I can also feel if the Reiki for some reason is not wanted or is not useful or it's not the right time for it to be delivered, and then I can make plans accordingly. Reiki is not delivered unless the person has expressly asked for it, and if the person cannot express themselves, then their higher self pulls the energy. And sometimes the person that or thing that we're delivering it to, because it can also be delivered to animals, and we can feel when the animal has said yes and they're pulling it, and we can feel when they say no. And when they say no, the Reiki just doesn't flow. In fact, sometimes it will come back and hit us in a way that we can feel the difference in that vibration. So it is turned on and turned off by the practitioner, and it is pulled by the person that is receiving it. And it goes through my hands. So my hands fire up and they get red when I'm turning on Reiki energy, and it's delivered through my hands. It can also be delivered through my eye. It can be delivered through forms of breath and chant, and it can be delivered on different levels of intensity. It's generally a very subtle energy, and the person that's receiving it might not feel anything. Usually they feel very deeply relaxed, they're just relaxed. But you might also feel other sensations as you're receiving Reiki energy. You might feel tingling, you might feel a buzzing, you might feel energy flowing through you like it's an electrical current, but not a big shock. It'll flow through very gently, and you can feel it. Sometimes you can feel the heat, sometimes you can feel a coolness. And the way that I'm delivering it is I'm hovering my hands, over your body. It's kind of like, there's positions, and it's kind of like this, all over the body. Or I can simply scan it and direct it where it needs to go. Or I can project it from across the room or from across the other side of the world with distant Reiki, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So the Reiki will be delivered, and it very quickly relaxes you so that the stress is relieved. And then we can, as Reiki practitioners, go in and see where your energetic body is hanging on to energy or stress. To me, it feels like stagnant energy, or maybe even sludge, a heaviness. There's a weightiness to stagnant or even negative energy. And so we go in and we work on those places. Who do I mean by it when I say we? Everyone always says, who's we, Lisa? Me, myself, and I, as well as the Reiki guides and special Reiki guides that come in to help do the work. And I can feel their presence and feel them working with me. And sometimes when I'm doing Reiki in person, the person that I'm working on, they can feel it directly. They might feel like there's 4 hands on them or 6 hands on them or 6 hands hovering over them instead of just my 2. A Reiki session can be delivered in person, or it can be delivered by distance, meaning you don't have to be present to receive the Reiki energy. It's called distant Reiki. And I would say half my practice is distant Reiki. And it's done with what we call a distant symbol. So I can be here in my studio in California, and I can deliver a Reiki session somewhere else in the world with somebody who has asked me for it, just as though they're here in front of me. The distance symbol not only works with me in the present. In other words, I'm in California and I can deliver Reiki to someone in Hawaii or someone in Europe or anywhere, anywhere on planet Earth and maybe even beyond. And I can also work with Reiki energy in the past and in the future. And we can send Reiki to a person. We can send Reiki to animals. We can send Reiki to objects that hold energy, like crystals, for example, or rocks. Any living plant, people send Reiki energy to their food before they eat it. Reiki can be held in water. We can Reiki water. Anything that holds energy, for example, can have Reiki energy infused in it and be used in a variety of different ways. So one of the great benefits is intuition development. When you are a Reiki practitioner, your intuition just fires up and becomes clear and accurate and strong very, very quickly. And I just love that. Also, it balances the chakra system. It cleanses the aura, releases any sort of negative energy that's with you. And if you haven't tried it, there are what's called Reiki shares or Reiki circles. Usually master Reiki practitioners like myself hold them. I hold one once a month, where people that don't know anything about Reiki and would just like to learn more, or maybe they would just like to try it a little, we practice on each other, we learn techniques, and we share. And it's a great way to be introduced to Reiki. But do find a qualified Reiki practitioner near you to be able to explore Reiki and its benefits for you further. Thank you very much for the question, Jamie. I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to answering your question real soon.